Welcome to the Best in You podcast hosted by Aslam Khatri, entrepreneur and author of A Matter of Destiny, Passion, or Wish. Join Aslam as he teaches you about self-empowerment through the experiences in his life's journey. Tune in if you're ready to empower yourself and change your life. Let's get into it.
The hidden key to real change. Unlearn to learn. Why breaking old habits is more important than building new ones. Hi, I'm Aslam Khatri. Welcome to my show. Welcome to the Best in You. I believe everyone has best qualities, so why not bring them out? We all have hopes, we all have dreams, and we all have aspirations. So let's talk about them today. Welcome. Today we're talking about something raw. You see, everybody is obsessed about building new habits. Everybody's obsessed about trying to get a new hack. And everybody is obsessed about trying to better themselves with an advice from somebody. But here's the truth. You cannot build on something that is already full. Building new habits upon our old habits is like building a skyscraper on a broken ground, on a broken foundation. You might look successful from the outside, but inside you're still fighting the same old battles. So let's flip the script today. Let's talk about how to unlearn, how to get rid of the old habits before we create new ones. You need to unlearn what's holding you back. So let's dive in. Think about the last time you tried to build a habit. Maybe it was to eat healthier. Maybe it was to learn to climb a mountain. Or finally, it was that habit that you wanted to write that book. How did that work out for you? 1 month, 1 week, few months later, same old. You basically give up and you go back to your old self. Why? Because that's what we do. We treat a new habit as a to-do list. We just add it on to already where we have not changed to what our old habits were. We just pile on more than thinking back. Do more of this, less of that. But here's the truth. Your brain does not work like that. It doesn't work on additions alone. It needs to be rewired. And to rewire, it has to rearrange or to make room for more data. It's like installing a new code before deleting the old one. A few years ago, I tried an early morning routine. I bought myself a fancy journal, I bought myself an alarm, and I was ready to start a new life. But what I found out that because of my old habits of staying up late at night, watching late videos, watching late night shows to get rid of my anxiety, it just didn't help. Because what I was doing is I was not deleting or unlearning my old habits. I was just trying to pile on something new. So waking up early in the morning was just a cosmetic change for me. It didn't do anything. It did not change anything else for me in my life. So habit masking is equal to when new habits hide, but they don't go away. They're never erased. They always stay. So we have an old habit that we have masked, but it doesn't go away anywhere. It's just put away somewhere deep into your subconscious. And believe me, it comes back at the time of stress, at the time when things are difficult. So truly, they do not replace the new ones. The old habits stay back with us. So you see, the old habits don't go away. They stay dormant and they wait for a stress or something else to trigger it back. Smokers who quit continue to have the craves even years after, because neural pathway still exists. Ever realize that your brains go back to the old neutral way when you are tired? That's because it's your brains that's talking about the old worn out stuff. So how do we unlearn? What is the secret behind unlearning? How do we let go? How do we let go of that past trauma? How do we let go of our past incidences? How do we rewrite our own story? How do we forgive ourselves? And how do we go forward? Oprah Winfrey, in one of her podcasts, so rightfully said, and I quote, "I propose that we unlearn one bad habit or pattern that has not served your greatest potential." You see, we need to unlearn to go forward, because things that we have learned that has put us at odds with us and they have just stayed with us. Now we must unlearn them before we take to the new challenges, to the new habits. So how do we unlearn that? Number one is we have to put our attention to what is it that's at the matter. What is it that's hurting you? What are the trigger factors? You see, once we put the attention, it gives us, basically, it tells us as to when and how it happens. So once you put your attention to the matter itself that is hurting you, just the idea of understanding it, just the idea of being aware of it, it automatically triggers in your mind, I shouldn't be doing this. You see, for me, if I'm trying to avoid doing some work, what I do is I just sit there mindlessly scrolling, mindlessly trying to just look at some odd stuff so that I don't have to do what I need to do. Now, once I'm aware that that is the habit, once I'm aware that that is my pattern that is holding me back from doing great things that I can, and once I can start realizing it, once I can say to myself, once I have identified it, then it makes it much easier. What it does at that point is, for myself, every time that happens now, once I was aware of it, once I became aware of it, every time it happens, what I do is I remind myself. And right then and there, I put away my telephone, I put away my iPad, or I put away my computer. And I say to myself, I just caught myself. And what I do at that point is I just sit and take deep breaths. So what happens is by doing that, I am constantly reminding myself. I'm constantly putting myself into that situation which says, I need to be aware of that. The other thing is, by doing that, what I'm doing is I'm replacing it without resisting it. So my stopping the scrolling, taking the deep breath is basically, instead of just fighting it, I'm trying to replace it. And as I continue to replace it, it basically helps me. Rewire with repetition. Rewiring with repetition is one of the best ways. So once you're aware and once you keep on rewiring yourself, it will help you bring on to your next level where you can now take another habit by rewiring your old one and sitting back, letting the old one just die basically because of that particular awareness. So this week, let's start by unlearning one habit that's holding us back. Let's unlearn it not just by willpower, but by trying to understand what is it that triggers that habit within us. Try to understand deep down what brings that habit to us. Once we learn that, and once we're not resisting it, it will help us go forward. You see, we need to ask ourselves a question. What does this need fulfill within me? And how can I replace it? Once the awareness is there, it will completely help you. So being in time, being within yourself and being aware, that is the important part. You see, we have been sold this myth that transformation is about adding more habits, adding more hustle, adding more and more. But truly, it is not more and more, it's less and less. It's if we can help ourselves courageously reduce and get rid of some of our bad habits, that alone makes the room for good habits to come in. So what bad habit that's holding you back that you're going to unlearn this week? Let me know. This is a challenge. Let's work on it together and let's get together next week. Till then, I'm Aslam Khatri saying goodbye. I hope you unlearn something that's holding you back.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. We certainly hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to rate the podcast and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode.